Today, on this lovely Friday, we're going to take a step away from the CX500 and the GS550 for the time being and show you something a little bit different. Throughout my videos, you may have seen me photoshopping some mock-ups of bikes and all sorts, and quite a few people have been showing interest on wanting to know how to create this. A lot of people asking me whether I use an app, whether there's a piece of software out there. So I use Photoshop. My day job is a graphic designer, so I use it every day without fail. And today I'm going to show you how to mock up your own bike. So in a nutshell, what I do is I go out there and go on different platforms, Pinterest, all sorts of places to get inspiration from. What I do is I collect pictures from everywhere. If I like a gas tank from one picture, if I like a seat from another picture, I'll take these individual little bits and then I'll place them all together. So that's what we'll be doing in this video today. Now I'm going to be going through it at a moderate pace, so if you're really new to Photoshop, there's some brilliant tutorials out there on how to use your pasteboard, how to use your layers, all sorts. But hopefully this video should be able to take you from a complete beginner to being able to cut out a few elements, put them together and create a bike that you want. So let's get started. Right, so we'll start with a blank canvas, and if you go to File, New, and create a new canvas, we'll do it at 1920 by 1080. That's the normal screen size. I'm not going to go too in depth on what resolution and pixels or millimeters to use. We'll change the background grey, so if you click on the colour on the left hand palette, that then comes up a colour palette and you can do all sorts with that. We'll go to fill and fill the background here. So this is where we do the most photoshopping bit. We'll select our base bike to work from, so we'll use this Honda CB here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pen tool and find the neatest place to start. If you click your pen tool in one point, click it at the other point, as I'm doing here, and then hold that click down, you can then drag the pen out and create a curve. If you press Option and then click on the point again, that'll get rid of the other side of the curve, so it allows you to create another straight edge. I will just repeat this process and we'll create a shape around the entire lot of the bike. So you're basically cutting it out of white and leaving yourself a bike on a transparent background. So if you go to the paths, you can see that you've got a path here ready to be exported. If you click Command and click on that path itself, it then comes up with a selection, so you can see the whole bike is highlighted in a selection. And then do a quick copy, which is Command C on Mac or Control C on PC. Copy that and then paste it onto a new board. We've got this bike on our own background now. I'm going to get rid of these little white bits. So the best way to do that is to get a magic wand, set your tolerance to 30, and then you can just select all the white bits. If you keep your finger held down on Shift whilst you click on all the other bits, that'll add your selection onto what you've got already. Once you have that, you can just press Delete or Backspace and that'll delete your white bits. So let's look at the tank first of all. I quite like the look of this tank here, so I'm going to take this and again, as I did previously, use the pen tool, select your tank, go to your selection and copy that and paste it onto the new dock. And whilst we don't need the old tank and seat here, I'm going to cut these off. So I'm going to use a lasso tool here and just do a crude line across everything. Cut that and then edit, paste in place, and that'll paste it on a different layer, so you can show and hide that layer if you want to. I'll place the new tank back on or make it visible. Go to transform and that can transform your scale. Go to transform again and then you can transform the rotation. If you press Option and click anywhere, that'll move your center points. You can rotate your element around that center point itself. Let's hide the seat, and there's the tank as it sits. Do you know what, let's try another tank actually. Let's try this red Honda one. No, I prefer the old one. Well, we need the seat to go with this, so I'm going to use this brown leather seat. Same process, copy and paste that and scale it into place. We'll get rid of the front wheel, the front forks and the front handlebars. That's the bit that makes it look old. So again, cut that out crudely from here. Have a look, see what front end we need. And with your pen tool, select that again. Copy and paste that, and then you can scale it into place. Rotate the rest of your bike to fit with it. For the back end, we'll just crudely cut out the back end just to see how that sits. So here on your layers palette, you can turn the opacity down, so you can turn that down to about 30% or so you can see the background, so you can adjust the rear tyre to be the same size as what you want it to be. Now that I know that I want to keep it, we can cut out the rest of the background out. To get rid of this airbox here, because you have no pixel information behind that box, we're going to have to steal the void from another bike. So that's what we'll do here. We'll cut it out of another bike, roughly put it to the right size. We'll delete the old box, and then we can cut out all the background from this. So that, as you can see, blends in perfectly now and looks like part of the bike. We'll add a little shadow here, fill some color, blur it out, and there you go. But one more trick I want to show you is that you can change colours of things quite easily. So if we bring back the red tank and go to Image, Adjustment, and Hue and Saturation, the hue here will allow you to change the colour to whatever you want. Well, to reason. We'll choose a green here. And it's that simple. That'll revert back to this tank here that I like, but let's make it our own. We don't want the 16 there, so let's delete all the decals off the tank. I'm going to use a quick selection tool and then a quick paint tool just to paint in the shadow. Now this is going fairly advanced. There are Photoshop tutorials out there to help you, but I'm just showing you this quickly so you understand the process. We'll fade that out, and then we'll put our own little stripes on. Use an ink dropper to select the colour that we want to match the tank. And there we go. There it is, all done. And that's it, that's how to put a bike together. Of course you can do all sorts, you can change the colour of the frame, you can change the colour of your tanks. The more you get to grips with Photoshop, the better you'll get, the more you can experiment with colours, shape, you can even create your own frames from scratch, all sorts. Photoshop is limitless in what you can create, so have fun on it. I'll be working more on my bikes this weekend, so subscribe if you want to follow those builds, and also follow me on Instagram for any up-to-date photos or bits that you might not see in between videos. So I'll see you next week.